Business of Drag and Me with your host, the wonderful Braden. We'll talk about taxes, we'll talk about business, we'll talk about life. Spill the tea. See you there. Ow,
Hello, and welcome back to the Business of Drag podcast and YouTube show. As always, this is your host, Braden. And today we are continuing our intro series on all things law and tax by covering the framework that I teach inside my book, Unfuck Your Biz, a step-by-step framework to put your finances back together with legal and tax strategies. Now, I've been saying this the past few episodes or shows that this is going to be a 9-part series. Originally, I said it was going to be a 12-part series, and I've changed my mind yet again, folks. This is going to be an 8-part series, which means that you are watching the last part of the series. Because ultimately, you know, maybe it's just me, but I like all the episodes to be relatively similar in length. I don't want to have like a 30-minute episode and then a 10-minute episode. So if I have two 10-minute episodes, I'm going to mush them together. And that's what we're doing today, because I realized both topics did not require to be that long. Now, I mentioned that we're going through the process in my book. You can grab a copy. We'll put the link in the thing and down in the thing and all of the places and things. And specifically, we're covering chapter 12, which is systems. Now, in this book, I talk about both law and tax. Okay, so law and tax. And in the legal side of things, I talk about a concept that I call the layers of legal protection. I've discussed in a previous video how LLCs are like a magic bubble of protection that protect your personal assets from business liability. That is one layer of protection in your business. Other layers include insurance and contracts. Those are the most important ones. Now, in my other business where I work with a lot of service providers, graphic designers, wedding photographers, planners, coaches, consultants, all those types of folks, they are providing contracts to their clients, right? And they're also getting insurance. For drag professionals, things are a little bit different because usually, if you're getting hired, you're probably being provided a contract, unless you are running some other kind of business model where you are hiring talent. In that case, you would definitely want to give them a contract. And if you want to learn more about contracts, definitely grab a copy of the book because I teach about them there. I also sell contract templates on my primary website, so you can check those out also. It's called the Contract Vault. I have a whole bank of contracts for $30, which is fantastic. But right now, I mean, you all tell me if I'm headed down the wrong direction, but right now I'm not planning on talking about contracts a ton here on the Business of Drag show, unless it's more relevant and pertinent than I thought it was. So you let me know. Same thing with insurance. So contracts, insurance, LLCs, those are our layers of protection. That's what I talk about in chapter 12 of the book and what I intended to cover for the most part in this video, but I decided to kind of fast forward that in order to make this all more relevant. The other part about systems has to do with your tax systems. So we have our cash flow systems. We discussed that in the last video. Remember, you need to automate your taxes, pay yourself regularly, get your cash flow system set up, your business bank account. Super, super important. But now we got to talk about the bookkeeping piece of all of this. So I also mentioned in the last episode that we have my book, and then we also have Business of Drag Basics, which is my mini course. It's like a starter course to help you get started with your finances. So we have a book for that, as I'm showing you in the video. If you want to get access to this, what you want to do is go to my website and download my bookkeeping template. I'm going to be giving you a tutorial of that in today's episode. And then when you download the template, you'll get a special offer to buy this course for $30. Which is, in my opinion, a steal of a deal. And we have videos, all the templates that you need, worksheets, etc. So with that in mind, I'm going to walk you through the bookkeeping section of this course. All right, so in the beginning of Business of Drag Basics, I first explain how tax deductions work. We already covered that in this series, but then I also give a deep dive into what I call the Small Biz Tax Deduction Guide. You can see that here. Very fun, very pretty, very informative. And it walks you step by step through all of the common deductions, what you can deduct and how those work. So you can check that out to learn more. Once you know what you can deduct, Then you want to start paying for those things from your business bank account. Most of those things, I should say. There are still some things you need to pay for your personal bank account, mostly personal expenses. So cell phone, typically not fully deductible for your business. You want to pay that out of your personal account. Same thing with vehicle expenses, most often home office related expenses. You get the picture. So then you can bookkeep these things. Now, according to the IRS, and I'm going to read this quote from the IRS, they say you may choose, let me pull up my book. You may choose any record keeping system suited to your business that clearly shows your income and expenses. The business you are in affects the type of records you need to keep for federal tax purposes. Your record keeping system should include a summary of your business transactions. This summary is ordinarily made in your business books, for example, accounting, journals, and ledgers. Your books must show your gross income as well as your deductions and credits for most small businesses. So the most common ways that a lot of small businesses do this is by using a program like QuickBooks, but you don't have to do that. You can use any record keeping system as long as it provides a summary of your business transactions, according to that quote we read from the IRS. You don't need a fancy program, nor do you have to spend a lot of money if you don't want to. You could technically just use a notebook and a pen if you wanted to. I'm not recommending that. Don't do that, but you could if you really wanted to. Instead, the simplest option for most businesses is a simple spreadsheet. So in our cash flow video, I talked about the stages of business and mentioned how I encourage stage 1 folks to implement simple cash flow systems. I do the same thing for bookkeeping. If you're relatively new in business or you're making like under $30,000 to maybe $50,000 a year, you probably don't need a fancy sophisticated tax software. A spreadsheet is probably the best place for you to start. Once you're above that, or I should say, or if you're selling a lot of lower ticket things. So if you sell merch, if you go to DragCon, you sell a lot of stuff, then it might be worth your while to do QuickBooks because it's going to automatically import all of your transactions from your bank account. And you can set up rules to automatically classify things into certain areas of your bookkeeping, which just makes it a lot faster. Until then, if you're only getting paid, a handful of times a month and you have a handful of expenses per month, you can literally log it in a spreadsheet in 10 to 20 minutes per month. Pretty simple. Once you get above 100,000, I would say is the minimum, but about $150,000 to $200,000, that's when I recommend that you hire a bookkeeper. And this is actually what I do in my business at Drag Tax. We do tax returns, we do some assistance with back taxes, and we do monthly bookkeeping for higher earning drag entertainers and LGBTQ plus business owners. So you can contact us and we can set up your bookkeeping.
Can I ask you a question?
Meanwhile, I'm going to show you how to get started doing this on your own. So let me pull up, we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm actually going to do a screen share today of some sample bookkeeping. So here's our screen share of our spreadsheet. This is a sample set of books. Now, a lot of this data actually comes from a few different clients I have worked with in the past. I've just changed some numbers and deleted some categories for anonymity purposes. And I've also simplified it to make it a little bit cleaner. So we have here, let me delete that sheet. We don't need that one. We have here income and expenses for this calendar year. So you can see here, we have our income categories. So let's assume that as a drag professional, you do gigs. That's like one of your primary streams of income. And then other income could be like paid posts that you're doing on Instagram. It could be all kinds of stuff. And then you also, let's say that you do wigs for folks and you have a salon. So you do a lot of hairstyling. So these are 3 different revenue streams. The first 2 are mostly, we're going to say drag related. And then the third one is hair related. Reflect back to our earlier video where I shared the pie chart of Trixie Mattel's income. Again, I don't know what her income is, but we all know she has various businesses. So this is a breakdown, and we can think about, do you have multiple businesses or multiple revenue streams in your business? We want our spreadsheet to have a breakdown of each revenue stream in the business, not because the IRS cares, but because this helps just show us important financial insights into our business. So we have our income. by category, by month. Beautiful. And then we have our expenses. So we would go through our tax deduction guide and Business of Drag Basics to decide all of the things that we are deducting. And then we would create a category. These are actually called, each column is actually called a chart of accounts. These are different chart of accounts that we have in our bookkeeping. So we have all of our expenses. You see, we have makeup, storage, clothing, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to log all this at the end of each month. So let's say it is February 1st. We're going to go back and do our January bookkeeping. We're going to open our business bank statements. Maybe we have a PayPal account, we have a business Venmo, whatever, and we're going to log all those transactions. Now, this is where it really, really helps you. Let me stop my screen share for a second. This is where it really helps you to have a separate business bank account, because if you have a personal bank account, it's going to take you probably, I would say, 3 times as long, because you have to do all of the sorting of, is this business, is this personal? Guess what? If you have, let's say, a transaction for Target in your bank account, we could probably assume that that's a personal expense, but maybe you're buying some business stuff at Target as well. The only way for us to know then if that's a business deduction would be to go find that receipt from Target. That's a huge pain in the ass. Amazon is also a really sticky issue because a lot of people buy a lot of their drag on Amazon, but you're also buying a lot of personal stuff on Amazon. If we just see in your personal bank account 50 transactions from Amazon, we're not going to know if it's business or personal unless we go log into Amazon and see. Whereas if we pay for our business stuff with our business debit card from our business bank account whenever we're on Amazon, then we can safely assume that every Amazon transaction from the business bank account is a business deduction. So hopefully you're starting to see how much easier this is. Once you start doing your bookkeeping, if you haven't separated your banking, you'll start to see this. Okay. So let's go back to our spreadsheet. So we do this all year, and then we get down at the bottom and we have these beautiful formulas to do all of our totaling. Now, you would probably set yours up a little bit different depending on what kind of income you have, but I've set up formulas to total all of our drag income, which was those first 2 categories, and then all of our salon income. So then we have our total, right? So this hypothetical taxpayer was making about $42,000 from drag and $50,000 from the salon for total income of $92,000. Not too shabby. But then we can look at our expenses. So over here, I think I counted rent, supplies, and wigs as our salon expenses, and then everything else I considered a drag expense to make it really easy. So we have income expenses for drag. So drag profit was $23,500, and salon profit was only $5,300. And this is why it's helpful to break things down based on your revenue streams when it's feasible to do that, because we can see here, you know what, I'm actually making more money. I have higher gross revenue in the salon, right? 50,000 to 41,000. But with all my expenses, I'm actually profiting a lot more money on my drag, which is interesting. I think for a lot of folks, you might see the opposite might happen. If you're spending a lot of money specifically on hair, wigs, makeup, clothing, all that kind of stuff. So then this would tell us, okay, you know what? I spent a shit ton of time on this salon business. Am I making enough money to warrant me continuing to do this? Or would I be better off going to get a part-time job or a full-time job? Keep in mind, it's okay to have a low profit in the beginning if you see a way to optimize that to increase your profits moving forward. But if you were doing this, let's say you're doing this business for the sole purpose of helping keep you afloat while you grow your drag income, well, it's not really doing a very good job of that based on these numbers. So you could either scrap it and do something else, or you could say, is there a way that we could get this rent down? That's really high. Is there a way I could save a lot of money on supplies? Or what this also could be telling us is I spent $21,000 on wigs and cost of goods. If my profit's not that high, it means that I likely need to be charging a lot more, or maybe you're not recouping all of the cost for this, right? If you're going to do wig styling for someone and the wig costs you $200, well, your client should pay for that. And then you need to pay an adequate fee on top of that for your actual services in order to make sure you have awesome profit margins. So we do this bookkeeping. Let me come back off the screen share so I can ramble about the importance of this really quick. We do this bookkeeping to give you all these financial insights so that you can make strategic decisions about your revenue. That's super important. And then we do it so that we can file our tax returns. So it serves two important purposes. If we only cared about our taxes, we could just have one column for income, and then we could have a column for each type of expense. When we go to do our tax return, that's all we really need. But for financial purposes, it's good to have a breakdown. So let me screen share our spreadsheet, our empty spreadsheet. If you go download my free spreadsheet on my website, again, we'll put the link in the thingy up here and in the thingy down there. You can go grab it. It's a little bit more blank. So you can do your income categories. So let's say, you have gigs. This is the amount of money you're getting paid like by the club or whatever. And then you're going to have tips. So if you're performing at bars, you're probably going to get paid by the club and you're going to get paid by tips. You could combine those or you could separate them. That's totally up to you. And let's say that you sell merch. So that's fabulous. And you get paid to sell, get paid to do sponsorships. That's great. And then if we had a fifth category, maybe you also, let's say Facebook. I just learned, this is something that a lot of people probably know, but I just learned talking to a popular queen the other day that once you're verified, you actually get paid by Facebook for doing lives like on Instagram and Facebook. If you have a certain number of viewers, I don't know how that works, but I just thought that was really, really interesting. A peek behind the curtain. That's what I'm exploring on my interviews here on Business of Drag. So these could be all your revenue streams. So that's super fun. And then we go over here and we have your expenses. If you need to add categories, you can. You can see I have some blanks here for categories, but we have drag clothes, makeup, wigs, etc. And then we have all of our months. So if you ever need to add a month, you can do that. Just insert a row above. And again, when you download the spreadsheet, I have a tutorial video that's a lot more in depth that shows you how to actually operate this. So you're going to put in all your information. It has your totals at the bottom. I also have an automated P&L that's going to pull all this information that will mirror the P&L that I shared in one of our previous videos. So that's really fun as well. This gives you a snapshot of your year-to-date income and expenses. And then we have sheets for you to track your travel, your mixed use expenses. So these are things like rent, gas, electric, things that you would use to take your home office deduction on your tax return. And then your cash flow tracker. So I mentioned the cash flow tracker. in the previous lesson when we were talking about cash flow management. When you go download this free spreadsheet, you're going to get access to all of that. That's also going to put you on my email list, which, if you can believe me, is a place that you really want to be, I promise, because I do my best to email all my email subscribers whenever quarterly taxes are due. We have upcoming tax deadlines. And then whenever I'm hosting free events, paid events, anything that you might find useful. So that was a bit of a primer on our bookkeeping. Hopefully you see that it's not that scary, not that terrifying. You can get started. Go download that spreadsheet. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. I would love to see the comments on my YouTube start to pop off, hopefully for positive reasons, fingers crossed. Same thing with podcasts, with the podcast, although I know podcasts don't have comments, but you can still like, subscribe, share with friends, write a review. It's all super helpful. That is going to conclude our solo series. Now, if you want more solo episodes from me, let me know. I'll have some special episodes coming up for tax season. Like I'll probably do one on how to send 1099s, because that's, I know you're all eager to learn that and hear that. But otherwise, I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet with the show format moving forward. We're either going to stick to this kind of formula of me doing a solo show every other week and having the interview every other week. I might just do an interview every week, or if that's a little bit too much work, now that this solo series is done, we might just go to an every other week publishing schedule with our guests. So let me know. Let me know if you have thoughts, opinions, questions, comments, concerns. Follow me on all the social media channels. We'll pop those up on the screen at DragTax on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. I would love to be friends with you. That would be fabulous. And thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed.
Hi everyone, it's me, Rock'em Sock'em from the cast of season 12 of RuPaul's Drag Race. Do you need help doing your taxes? Of course you do. You're stupid, but you're pretty. You might be a drag queen and you can do dips and splits and all of that other stuff. You can grab $1, $2, but are you paying Uncle Sam? If you don't know how, you need help, and that's why you need Business of Drag. That's right, you need Business of Drag. Taxes are a drag. Tune in for help from a pro. All right, all you drag performers out there, taxes are stressful. We all know tax season. Taxes are stressful, stress causes wrinkles, and filler is not deductible. Hire us for help. You need it. You really, really do. Hey everyone at home. Ooh, there goes my titty. That is not deductible. Okay. Hey everybody, it's me, Rock'em Sock'em from the cast season. Hey everybody, it's me, Rock'em Sock'em from the cast season 12 of RuPaul's Drag Race, and I'm here to tell you that if you're stupid and pretty just like me, you might need help on your taxes, because taxes are a drag. But you need to tune in for help. Oh, motherfucker! God damn it, I got this wrong. Okay, one more time. Sorry. Hi everyone, it's me, Rock'em Sock'em from the cast season 12 of RuPaul's Drag Race. You guys, if you're like me, you're beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, stunning. People run down the street just to get a look at you. But you're also insanely stupid and not good at doing things like math or handling your money. That's why Business of Drag is here. Taxes are a drag. Tune in for help from a pro. Might I add, taxes are stressful. Stress causes wrinkles and filler is not deductible. No deductee. Hire us for help. You need it. Business of Drag! Pay your taxes. Pay your taxes. Pay your taxes. Or Uncle Sam will do a split on your throat, metaphorically speaking. Do your taxes.